So tell me again what you guys are doing here.
So we're making our pizza dough here for the next couple days. Do this every Tuesday and Friday. Wednesday we usually don't do it on Wednesday. Some scheduling got messed up today, but yeah, we usually make anywhere from five, 6 batches on a day. Yeah, me and my dad used to do it since after my dad. So this is my Uncle Tim. He had Curran's Bakery on Market Street. Him, my father, my grandfather. But Uncle Tim ran and owned it for all those years. How many years were you in business, Uncle Tim?
13.
13 years. It's a bonding moment. Plus, I've been learning a lot too. So you can tell I wasn't trained by my grandfather. I'm a one-hand guy. When my Uncle Tim does it, he uses both hands because like my dad used to tell me, my grandfather would smack him in the hands and tell him, you got 2 hands, don't you? Use both of them. So when he needs dough, he'll use both of his hands, but I'm a one. I can only use one. Everything we make in-house. We make our own sauce, fresh tomatoes, fresh basil.
Now, who's the real boss here? Where's the boss?
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, listen. When I was a kid, I used to work in the bakery, so I
Used to work for me.
I still feel the same way. Like I still feel like I'm on the bottom. I never disrespect Uncle Tim. Yeah, so Amanda's dad bought this place 35 years ago off of Bill and Peg Smith. And it was condemned at the time, and he fixed it up and made it into O'Shea's. She ended up coming here from Michigan because he was failing. He was trying to make it a suit and tie establishment, and she ended up turning it around and helping him. She has a background in the business. I had a background in the business a little bit. We both grew up in a bar. We both grew up above a bar. So the ale house became an idea 2014, I think. So me and Amanda talked about different ideas, like about O'Shea's and things that would have to do to change the concept, like we knew we'd have to change everything about it. And I liked craft beer at the time. Amanda was just starting to get into craft beer, and I told her, I said, if we change it, we're gonna have to make it into more of a restaurant. A lot of people said that'll never work in Shamokin. I said, well, I think it will. I said, I think this area needs a craft bar, craft beer, craft food, craft pub food. So, we drew up a business plan. It took us a year to draw up our business plan. We sat down with Melissa Dupnock from M&T Bank. She said it was probably the most in-depth business plan she's ever seen. And Amanda did most of the work. Amanda was great. We studied on how to make a business plan. It was the first thing. And still to this day, if you look over our business plan, we're hitting every goal that we ever set. Everything we put in there, we're kind of meeting, so that's how it all started. One of the reasons why we did start the business because of the AOAA. I grew up out the mountains. I always had a dirt bike, a 4-wheeler, so I seen the path where we were going. Since COVID hit, everything just slowed down, and it's so slow right now. And I hope it picks back up, but since COVID hit, everybody just kind of went their own way. Everybody that was in revitalization efforts kind of went their own ways.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, everything's kind of slowed down. I'm hoping it picks back up, but I'm still all aboard. I still go up to the AOAA. I'm still very involved with the AOAA. I'm just not involved with the city people as much as I should be because I think there's some changes that needs to be made in leadership. So, yeah. I remember like it's goofy stuff. I remember like flipping the sticky buns. Like it was hot molten molasses, taking them right out of the oven and flipping them over.
Right.
Like, I was just a kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's goofy stuff like that, and that stuff would be all over the floor, and I'd have to scrape it all off on Sundays. Sunday, I'd have to clean the bar and I'd clean the bakery, and that was one of my main jobs, Peanut butter buns, like that's what we're known for. Me and my uncle make them every holiday. When I put a post on Facebook, I sell 500-600 of them. I got to stop. Like I gotta say, hey, I can't take any more orders. Sell out every time I put a post on Facebook. Like I remember going to school every morning, it was always packed. Like my uncle always had coffee there. People come in, like the same ladies that started with him were the same ladies that were there 13 years later. He had 4 ladies that were with him the whole time. Like it was a family bakery. It was a family environment. You know what I mean? So I believe people came in there to to hang out in the morning, get their coffee. You know, it was more intimate. It wasn't like going to Dunkin' Donuts to sit in line. With the pizzas, you know, when we first opened the ale house, we only did this section here that we're sitting in right now. And we didn't have this second section, so we didn't have enough room to make our own dough, to make our own. Pizza is always something I wanted to do. We made pizza when we had the family bakery, and we just didn't have the room to do it. So 4 years back when we opened this other section, I wanted a good recipe. I really didn't like the dough that we did when we were kids, you know. So, you know, I talked to Amanda's sister. She said, oh, I know this guy from New York. So we got this recipe, New York style recipe. I said, all right. I said, let's give it a shot and, you know, see what we can do. So my dad came in, you know, because he knew how to make, he was a dough man. He came in, he showed us how to make the dough. I gave him the recipe. He messed with it a little bit. And I'm sure my Uncle Tim messed with it a little bit since he's been here too, because that's what bakers do. But yeah, so since we started, pizza has been pretty good. I wish I knew more about my grandfather. He is my namesake. He is the original Forrest Curran, you know, and then my dad's my grandfather was Forrest Atwood Curran. And then they named my father Forrest James. And then they called him Jimmy because my grandmother called my grandfather Forrest.
Okay.
And then I'm Forrest James Jr. So,
Nice.
yeah, so that's why my dad was always called Jim, because his mom called him Jimmy. You know, so, but.
That's awesome. Well, listen,
Yeah.
thank you for it. I love what you're doing.
Well, we do have 24 beers on tap, the most unique beers you could possibly find, you know, so.